Welcome to Unfiltered Summit Sisters. I'm Gina.
And I'm Julia.
We are two ride-or-die best friends who are paving the path for what true, authentic relationships look like.
We're facing hardships head-on, having real, uncensored conversations, supporting each other's growth, and shining a light on true, raw healing.
We are navigating the world the best we know how.
Having a hell of a time doing it.
Laughing every step of the way.
Through the rain
and sunshine.
This is Canyon Culture.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Unfiltered Summit Sisters. Is that better?
No, it's not. How you do it is perfectly fine.
I'm leaving it. This is what we're doing. So, we just had Thanksgiving.
We did. Thanksgiving 2024, baby.
This was a big Thanksgiving for us, though, because it was your first Thanksgiving in Utah.
Yes.
It was our first Thanksgiving together. So we have officially done all of the holidays together. And we celebrated your birthday together.
I know.
We haven't done either of those things yet. So it took a couple of years, but we have officially now celebrated all of the holidays as a Lawler Hayden crew.
Yes. Usually we're traveling to Texas for Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
And so my birthday is right before Thanksgiving.
As in your family,
That's
not
true.
Both of our families.
That's true. And by traveling, I mean driving from Utah to Texas, which we have done many times now, and I'm done. I don't want to do it anymore. It is way too much driving. It's one of the only times I have off of work for a break. And so I looked at flights and I was like, whoop, nope, we are not doing that. That's going to cost.
You have a lot of tickets to buy.
A lot of
tickets. So even if the tickets are cheap, you have to multiply that by a big number.
It's literally, I looked at tickets for like February. It's literally half the price.
That's insane.
So we've been here 2.5 years.
Yeah.
But it was our first Thanksgiving here in Utah.
It was so good too. It was interesting because building up to it, there was like scheduling conflicts and we were both kind of trying to navigate to make sure the other person was like, had what they wanted. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, for me, it was a hard conversation because anything that's not easy flowing is a hard conversation. And I was so proud. I was like, no, she loves me. It's fine. And so I was just like, hey, I want to spend Thanksgiving with you. Mm-hmm. And you're like, well, I want to make sure everybody's happy. I was like, everybody wants to spend Thanksgiving with you. And so we did. We just kind of everybody made it work. That was my favorite part, is it all worked out in the end. We all got what we wanted.
Well, my favorite part was the food.
Yeah.
So let's explain this. So in Texas, we are really big on the meal part. We have so many sides, a turkey, a ham, and it is a huge meal. So good. We have dessert too, but it's not as big as the meal.
We are literally the opposite.
Yeah.
We do pie all day.
A lot of pie.
A lot of pie. So my mom, we would do Thanksgiving. When we lived in California, we did Thanksgiving with my dad's side of the family. He has 3 siblings and 10 step siblings. Just a couple. And the majority of us, so that's 14 of the siblings, the majority of us would get together for said events. We would rent out a church.
I bet.
Or go to my aunt's house, who has a very large home. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so my mom would make all these pies, like starting the night before. And my dad is very much so like, see pie, eat pie. And so he just started eating it. And she's like, you can't eat it now. And he's like, it's here, it's ready. Why not? And she's like, fine, I'll just make more pie. So her passive aggressive attitude towards my dad eating the pie turned into a tradition where we just made double the pies and started pie the night before. And now that all of us kids have moved out, it's a little bit different. Mm-hmm. And so we make so many pies. And whenever you show up, you eat pie. We started a thing a few years, maybe, I don't even know. It was before the divorce. So that's the weird part. I'm like, it's like 4 or 5 years ago. I'm like, no, you've been divorced almost 6 years. I'm like, right. So that was closer to 10 years.
Right.
That's a lot. So a while ago, we started doing a gratitude tree. So my mom would draw out like the branches of a tree, and then we would get cutouts of leaves. And every time you get a slice of pie, you had to write something you're grateful for, just to keep it less gluttonous. So you had to pay for your pie with gratitude.
Okay.
Yeah. And so we didn't we're like, do we really need all these sides? Like, do we really want to spend all day cooking just to not eat it because we're eating pie?
Right.
So I love that you're big girls who do the majority of the cooking with you. Mm-hmm. They were like, we are so excited to combine the two traditions. And that is exactly what we did.
A match made in heaven, baby.
Yeah. So Grammy and Granddad did the ham and the turkey.
Oh, the turkey was Granddad did such a good job with the turkey because I'm not a turkey person. I think because it's a leaner meat, so it's usually drier. But it was so good.
He did a good job.
It was so good. I have one in my freezer and I want to just kind of like be like, hey, can you make this for me?
I think we should see what happens.
We should.
It'd be so funny. So we had Grammy and Granddad did that. I did a bunch of pies, and we brought salad that we didn't even make or eat.
Right.
But it was there. It was an option.
Right-ish.
And then you literally came in with a massive bucket that 2 people had to carry of food. And my dad walks in and he goes, whoa. Because we, at this point, like our Thanksgivings were just like, why are we like, let's just do like a couple of our favorite things, get some mashed potatoes and call it good. And you're like, no. So list off all the things y'all made.
Oh, I don't know if I'm even going to remember, but I'll try. We had stuffed mushrooms.
I know, I'm going down the table
I'm trying
too.
to remember it in my head.
Yes.
Stuffed mushrooms, frog eye salad, green bean casserole, Irish mashed potatoes, sweet potato casserole, mac and cheese, spicy corn,
rolls,
and then we made a pecan pie. I don't know if is that a Southern thing?
It's more Southern, but I think it's pretty popular. It wasn't something that I grew up having, but I like it. It's good.
And then Madison always makes, my oldest, she always makes a 3-layer gluten-free Neapolitan cake. So it's
Grammy
vanilla,
was so excited
strawberry,
about it.
chocolate. Yeah. Grammy and I froze individual portions.
Did you? I love it.
We did. So we have plenty of treats.
Perfect. My favorite part about Thanksgiving food, though, is leftovers.
Oh,
so the fact that my parents were like, this is a lot of food. We're like, right, exactly.
That's the point.
That's the point.
It's supposed to last.
So it was like, I had already, by the time you got there, we ate dinner, I'd already eaten 3 pieces of pie.
Yeah. But how many pies? Okay, so name the pies that we had.
Okay, we had a cherry, raspberry, pumpkin, apple, chocolate cream, your guys'
French silk,
grandmother's French silk, your pecan pie. The thing is that we had multiple of these. Oh, lemon meringue and key lime.
Yes. We ate good.
We ate so good. Oh. The thing is like we keep the pie going till it's gone. So like what we ate the next day was also pie.
It's true. I and then may or may not have a small piece of French silk.
Oh, there's nothing left.
It's the very last that I will be finishing today.
You and I are big on gratitude. We've talked about it quite a bit on the podcast, and we have gone through seasons where we're really hardcore with gratitude with our kids.
Yes.
I feel at this point I'm not as hardcore because I feel like it's really embedded in all of us, and I watch that in my children.
Yes.
So it's like almost it's less, we don't have to do it as on purpose. It's muscle memory at this point. But let's take the rest of this episode and just talk about some of the things. I don't know, do you want to do 2024? Things we're grateful for in 2024?
Sure.
Does that work?
Yeah.
Because if we open it up, we'll be here for a long time.
That's true.
So for me, this was a year of lots of transformation. There was some of the lowest of lows. The lows that I had during my marriage felt very outside of me because it was not always my choices that brought the low or my circumstances that were on my own, if that makes sense. Like my marriage and the choices he made and the kind of person he was the low.
Right.
This was like Gina on her healing journey. I'm now experiencing some of the lowest lows and figuring out what I'm supposed to do with that. But I think that there's, in the scriptures, it talks about opposition in all things. And we do have to experience those lows. Not that I'm happy with those moments, but then coming out of that felt amazing. And I'm super grateful for the community of people that held me through the lows, for the community of people who celebrated the highs with me and who helped me get out of that. There were countless crying nights to people who I'm just like, I need guidance. I need something because I'm dying.
Right.
But there was, anyway, so for me, just as a recap for 2024, transformation is the best thing because we went from lows to coming out of it and going, no, I'm a badass. I can do this. I've got the right team of spiritual angels and Christ and God. Like I never lost that compass and I'm proud of myself for that. And then he has gifted me the most amazing support system, Earthside, that you could ever ask for. And to be able to have the people that help push me and guide me and all the things we're just kind of ending 2024 with gratitude of the journey, I guess, is what I'm grateful for. This journey feels, it was hard, but worth it, like always.
Mm-hmm. I love that. That's awesome. I have kind of a big one. I had to. I'm sorry. I couldn't not.
The in-between podcast conversations warrants things like that, even though
I'm sorry. I'm surprised you didn't. Okay, focus, Julia. Coming to Utah was a big decision for me, right?
Yeah.
I've lived in Texas my entire life. All my kids were born there, lived almost pretty dang close to the same city, like my entire life, right? Moving to Utah was a huge decision, and God gave me so many signs that this was where we needed to be. And yet again this year, not that I needed it, but he gave me another huge sign of like, this is where you're supposed to be. So I homeschool all of my kids. I always have. None of them have been to a public school or private school. We've always homeschooled. We've done co-ops and micro schools and things like that, but we've always homeschooled in the end. And in Texas, when I was married, the kiddos got to take extracurricular classes and go to co-ops and things like that. And when we got divorced, and because I owed well over 6 digits in child support, all of that stopped. They did not get to do anything outside of the home. We had to do a lot of homeschooling online so that I could work and they could get school done at the same time. It was a season. Moving to Utah, they have funding for homeschoolers that Texas doesn't have. And it is incredible. Particularly this year, they have new funding. And the way that it has opened up opportunities for my kids, I don't even have words for it. Like, it is crazy. So I've got, my oldest is dancing 4 times a week. All 6 of them go to a hybrid micro school.
Does that cost money?
Yes.
Okay. And the scholarship
pays for all of it.
That's amazing.
My oldest dances 4 times a week, covers all of that. My second oldest does voice lessons and musical theater and drama club, covers all of it. My next does tumbling and ballet and jazz, covers all of it. My next does jiu-jitsu, covers it. There's a lot of them. The next does tumbling and painting class, covers all of it. I forgot a sculpting class and a drawing class back there with some of the other kids. But just all of these classes, like every single thing is covered. There is not a penny that I am having to cover. I can't, as a single mom,
right,
with the amount that I make and being able to still, I have my kids 365 days a year. I have to be able to work from home.
Yeah.
I can't leave them. There's no one else. And so I do not make enough for them to do any of these things. I make enough for us to live, pretty comfortably, I feel like, but there's not more than that. Right.
Yeah.
The opportunities that these kids have is incredible. It is blowing my mind, like just dance alone. So there are 3 girls dancing. Between the 3 of them, there are 8 different dance classes a week. Those classes are not an hour long. They're longer. So we're dancing for many, many hours. So I took the time the other day to add up all of the costs for dance. And I mean everything from going and getting leotards and tights and ballet shoes. I know I'm speaking a different language than what you boy moms know.
Tractors and weapons is not involved here. Got it.
Not. So leotards and tights and ballet shoes and jazz shoes and dance bags, tuition for the entire year for all of them. Registration fees, recital fees, costume. There's like 6 different costumes between the 3 of them. Like all of it all together is over $5,000 for the entire year. Every penny is covered. Every freaking penny is covered.
It's amazing.
That is just, it's blowing my mind. Like, and that was just another sign of God being like, this is exactly where you are supposed to be right now. Because Texas doesn't have this.
What I think is amazing is it wasn't on the list of reasons to move here.
It wasn't.
And that's where there's so many things like, okay, yeah, you're going to have me, my parents, the community, you're going to have the mountains, you're going to have, right? Like there's a lot of things that we could have listed out.
Right.
That was not one of them. And there's several other things that aren't part of them that got added to the list of confirmation that it's just like, but I think I think there's only been one day, or maybe, no, there's probably been 2 times you've texted me and you're going, I don't feel this often, but I'm homesick for my parents in Texas.
Yeah.
Not that you don't miss your parents all the time. You
Right,
miss your parents
right.
all the time. But just that, like, that's one of the ones that I've loved hearing is you're just like, I'm a homebody. And every time I go and visit trips, I love being on the trips, but I always want to go home.
Yeah.
And
I
you're
love
like,
seeing
I
the
was
people,
nervous.
but this is home.
You're like, I was nervous I was going to feel that.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, I don't feel that.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it.
Mm-hmm.
But that financial help to give your kids those experiences and to give them a place to put their creativity and their
Yes.
energy and their talents is amazing. And watching them flourish, watching them blossom, watching
Mm-hmm.
them get confidence in areas is so amazing. It's so fun. It is so fun to watch Madison dance. It is so fun to watch Mackenzie and her plays and the little ones with their drawing classes when they come over and show me what they do and to
Mm-hmm.
watch them improve. One of my favorite things is watching all of them improve.
Yeah.
And because a lot of them are doing showcase things,
Mm-hmm.
or Jacob will come and show us his jujitsu stuff, you get to physically see them improve.
Right.
And it is so incredible. I love watching that progress.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that you are not taking for granted that and that you see how massive a blessing is, I think is great, because it is huge.
That blows my mind for us to be, looking at it, our situation from a worldly point of view. I have these kids by myself all the time. There is no co-parent, which on the other side does bring a lot of peace. I want to
Sure
add that.
does. Sure does.
At the same time, I'm owed way over 6 digits in child support. Way, way, way over 6 digits in child support. Right? Looking at it from a worldly point of view, we could choose to be so angry and be victims, and right. And instead, I'm going through all of the things the kids are doing and submitting all of these different payments and reimbursements, all these kinds of things, right? And talking to the kids, and I'm going, look at this.
Mm-hmm.
Look at this.
Yeah.
So when the world wants to tell you that you're a victim, when the world wants to tell you that your dad left you and abandoned you, and you don't get to do this or that because of choices that you didn't even make, or you had nothing to do with this, but God, look at what he has done. Look at the opportunities. This is more than you would have done, even if we were married,
Right.
and had that money. This is more. So look what God has stepped in and done for you. Don't you ever forget, you are not alone. You are not forgotten. You are absolutely chosen and wanted. And God is doing all of this for you.
They are so lucky to have a mom like you, to be able to view it from that point, because it is really easy. Your situation is so easy to sit in victim mode, to walk around and going, look at all the things that I'm going through and how hard it is for me. Pity me. Be sorry for me. That is such an easy road for you to take. And instead, you feel the feelings that are real and raw. You don't ignore the fact that it is hard and that it is unfair and that it sucks.
Right.
But that's not where you sit. That's not where you live from. That's not where your heart lies. Your heart lies in gratitude. Your heart lies with God. And you are aligned with him and showcasing how beautiful of a world, because I get stuck in that too. I get stuck in this sucks.
Right.
I have my kids 95% of the time. And it's hard not having a parent in the home to tap out and say, I am overwhelmed. We've talked about before, my youngest has some special needs and it pushes me to my edge and beyond.
Yes.
And there's nobody there at 3 a.m. when he is having a fit. There's nobody there. There's nobody there for me to tap out.
Yeah.
And I easily get sucked into this, really, God, you're going to give me more. And so having, what do I call you? A different kind of, you're a co-parent in a different way.
Right.
But that example of always bringing it back to, look at this beautiful life we've created for these kids. Look at this beautiful life God has helped us create, or this beautiful life that God has given us the opportunity to take and embrace.
Yes.
That mentality is where I want to stay as much as possible, because as hard as it is, it always can be worse. And the things that are hard mold us to being better people.
Right.
And that's where gratitude is important to me, because I'm getting back into the habit of being grateful for the refiner's fire, because that's what this year was for me. It felt like a refiner's fire. But the version of me today versus the version of me in February, I like this one so much more. She is so much more healed. She is so much more badass. So I appreciate your walking through the hard, having human emotions, but then bringing it back to gratitude and giving all of the glory to God where it should be. and then teaching your children that so that they can have that example so that they go into the world viewing that as much as they could with that example, right? You're teaching them how to say life is going to throw shit at you.
Yep.
You get to choose to focus on that or focus on the positive. So I appreciate your example with that. And I'm just so unbelievably grateful to God to give you guys that opportunity to bless your children and that you take the chance. Like, you've done the work to find out about these scholarships. You do the work to submit everything. So
and it is literally like a part-time job,
Right.
keeping track of everything and, and
submitting
classes
everything,
and reimbursements and following all the rules and it is literally like a part-time job. But
are you kidding
holy
me?
cow.
On top of that, taking them to all of these classes, even though Madison drives them to a lot of the stuff, I'm like, that much stuff on your calendar is exhausting me, and it's not my calendar. I don't even do any of it. I'm like, that sounds like a lot.
It is, but I just like, I still like, anytime I think about it, I just sit back and I'm like, oh, this doesn't even feel real. It's that good.
I love it.
It's that good.
I love it. I really, really hope that your kids walk away with that same gratitude in their heart for what they get to do.
They're literally getting to witness real life miracles in my home. So they will never go out and doubt, is there a God? They know, they see him. Yeah. They feel him.
It's good to talk about it though. So to remind you, right? Because I think the world so often it diminishes those miracles and it goes, right, but like, remember how, but it's not as good as, right. Alpine is a beautiful city, but we have multi-million-dollar homes around the corner from our houses.
Right.
Our kids' friends have indoor basketball courts,
right?
Indoor bowling alleys. Not to make judgment, but we have contrasts.
Yes.
But if you step back and you look at your home and you're just like, oh my gosh, I love my home. And we have this backdrop of these mountains. Like, we have so much to be grateful for.
Yes.
So the world teaches us to compare, because comparison is the thief of joy.
Yes.
So instead of doing that, sitting in gratitude and looking at the amazing things that we do have, instead of focusing on what we don't have, I don't think Satan can get us as we stay in that space.
I'm so excited. Mackenzie is my musical theater girl. She's amazing at it.
Her improvement is my favorite part. It's so good to watch her improve, because she's already started out good and then it's like, oh, you got better. You're getting better.
I'm either like grinning the whole time or wanting to cry while I'm watching her, because I'm like, you're amazing.
This was her last show, was the first time we didn't go together.
I know.
And I was like, my baby's doing so good.
I'm getting to take her to see Beauty and the Beast at Hale Theater, which is the theater here in Utah, covered by the scholarship. Like, freaking amazing. Yes. We're so excited for that. And then Madison is my ballet. She's the one dancing 4 times a week and pre-point and all these things. And I'm getting to take her to see the Nutcracker, the professional one.
I love it.
It's just the experiences, everything that God is giving us is better than I could have planned or imagined.
I love that you also said, even if I was still married, it wouldn't have been this good.
Yeah.
Like, for just financially.
Right.
Because you wouldn't be in Utah. You wouldn't have the funding or the different kinds of things that they have here versus there. I am grateful for your attitude towards that. I am grateful that you don't sit in in the victim space, that you look at your life and you're going, nope, there's way too much beauty to ignore it. So thank you for that.
I feel like I already said my gratitude.
You what?
I feel like I already did my gratitude.
Okay, fine.
This was all of this, like the funding for the homeschooling, but really underneath it all, I mean, that may be like what people physically see, but underneath it all, I'm really thankful that no matter how much darkness we have been through, that God shows up in very real, very tangible ways to me and my babies, and they get to see that and experience that in my home before they go out into the world.
You found something else. Good job.
Thank you.
Hopefully you guys had a great Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And Thanksgiving might be one of my favorite holidays just because of how much I love gratitude, and I really like food.
Really, really like food.
I'm so excited for next year to see what we do better.
Yes.
Because that's all we do is just get better. We're like fine wine.
Yeah, we do.
All right. Until next week.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Unfiltered Summit Sisters.
Come join us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok to get a sneak peek into our lives.
It's beautiful, chaotic, crazy, and fun.
What else would you expect raising 10 kids?
All the links you need are in the show notes.
See you next week.